Yeah, it's been 5 years since Arteta was appointed as the manager of Arsenal, and that in those 5 years, he's won just one FA Cup, and 700 and maybe 25 million pounds has been spent in acquiring talents, players into the club. Yeah, but it's not just about the trophies and all that. We could see that in his first 2 years were very difficult, despite winning the FA Cup. Um, Arsenal could even make it to the Champions League, not even in the Europa League, twice. Then in the 2022-23 season, there was a leap, beyond everybody's. The expectation was quite a lot of people, so much that Arsenal, was on a, neck to neck with what they call it with Manchester United, Manchester City in the race for the Premier League, and eventually at towards the end of the season we saw Arsenal falling off, and City went ahead to win. In 2023-24 season, it was a better fight, but as it was against Guardiola, Ateta's boss, because he trained under him as a manager. So what happened? He went ahead and nicked it by 2 points. So this season we saw a season that began in a very strange and a very funny, with so many happenings, injuries, decisions, some issues of discipline on the field and all that, cost Arsenal the momentum, the initial momentum they actually required to have a very good head start to the season. But we've seen so far that um, Liverpool, clearly ran away with the league, because I don't think we actually challenged. But since like the last time I could actually say like Arsenal challenge for the um for the title was in December, when there was 5 points between Liverpool and Arsenal. But since then, Liverpool were just being like it turned into a one horse race, and eventually they see themselves today. They even won the league with some games. I mean, some games to spare. So it's been a situation with Arsenal, with Arteta, where we cannot really lay a finger on the reason why he's been. You can't say, oh, it hasn't been so it hasn't been quite well. You know the performance has been there, but the way the team drops off when it really matter most has been the situation here. A lot of Arsenal fans have been slagging him off, calling for his sack and all that. But the thing is that we could see that, you know, the last 3 years in the club has been better than what we had, like 3 years backward to the last time maybe we actually maybe compete for the title. That was in the 2024-25 season that Leicester beat Arsenal to it again. So we've had, like, in the past 10 years, we've been in contention 4 times, and in those 4 times, we didn't make it. So it's like second to Leicester, second to City, and second to Liverpool. Even right now, you are not sure of the second position, because we have a lot of teams trailing behind, and you can't blame those teams because the performance has not been there. We've seen ourselves in so many winning positions and end up losing or even drawing a game, and that is not what you should be expecting from a team that is challenging or that wants to win the league you know. So, and if you have to look now, Arsenal was absent on the Champions League from the Champions League for like 3 seasons, 7 seasons, 7 years, never in the Champions League. But the last 3 years we've been, we've taken part. No, in the last 2 years we've taken part, and this one, just the second time we're taking part after 7 years. It's we are the semi-finals, and we saw what happened in the first leg between Arsenal and PSG, and it didn't really go well, as Arsenal lost at home by 0-1 to PSG. So tomorrow the second leg, and we are trying to see if they could really pull the magic. As for me, I'm not really kind of excited. I don't know. The only thing that's going to like excite me is if Arsenal is going to do the impossible. If they did the impossible, I'll be so excited. But for me, I think the chances are slim. Coming on the backdrop of what has happened even last week. Losing to Bournemouth at home, losing 2 games at home back to back. And you can say, oh, Arsenal have the best defense. You can have the best defense when you lose at home, even to a team that is far behind you. So there's a little problem. So the question now is that should Arteta be allowed to stay a season more, or if he doesn't really, pull it tomorrow in Paris, or maybe he should just be shown the way out, if he doesn't perform, tomorrow. But for me, I'm not going to hinge it And because even for me, being in the Champions League semi-finals is like a dream to me because I never expected it, to be honest. But it doesn't mean that if we find ourselves there, we should throw it away. And it looks like we're throwing it away with the way we perform at home against PSG because we allowed them to overrun us, and they had an early goal. We had clear chances too, but couldn't take it. But if they had taken their own chance, maybe it could have been probably like 4-3 or 4-2 or even 4-0 in their favor. So we're gonna see. I've seen some stats, running around that Arsenal has never lost in Paris. The only out of 11 times they only lost one. So let's see. You know, let's see what's gonna happen. A one nil away win. If it were during the time where you had the old format of where you account, that the away goal rule, was in play, maybe we'll say okay, maybe no chance. But this time around, one goal nil, you just need to score one, and maybe you end up winning 2-1, or even if you win 1-0 over there, it's gonna go into penalties, and anything can happen. So, and we're gonna keep our finger crossed and see what's gonna happen tomorrow in the game. But the thing here is that I think, in my own opinion, I will not, call for an outright sack of Ateta, but I want a situation where he's gonna, be given like one more season. If he doesn't do anything, doesn't win in his favor, where I think he's had to, go look for a job elsewhere, and we'll bring in somebody else to, to have a fresh start, and still and give it the chase another go in next season. Thank you.